All right, here we go. Today we have Erik Prince, founder of private military contractor Blackwater. Welcome to Vlad TV.
Nice to be here.
I don't think I've ever had anyone like you on the show before. Very interesting story. It's your first time here. I want to start in the beginning. So, you're born and raised in Holland, Michigan.
Yep. Very Dutch community.
And your dad was Edgar Prince, who was the founder of Prince Corporation.
Yes, he started in 1965 from scratch.
Right. And this became a major corporation at one point.
It was, he started, well, back up even further. His father died when he was 13 in the Great Depression. So my dad was the head of the home then and had to work, and he worked hard. I was working 40 hours a week in middle school and high school already, and managing a car dealership at age 16. Like, who does that? And I remember he told me he installed the hot water heater at 14.
Oh.
And he literally wasn't sure how, but the guy at the hardware store showed him how to sweat a joint, and we would go and measure each piece of copper tubing and take it there, cut it, get it swaged, and installed it, and it worked. So he learned to work at an early age, put himself through college, worked all through college, was in the Air Force, drafted, did that for a couple of years, and then came back to West Michigan, worked for a tool and die maker. A tool and die is a mold that you use for either stamping or molding or whatever. And he didn't really like, that company made die-cast machines, and it was sold. He didn't really like the new owner, so he started on his own with a wife, 3 kids, a mortgage, and he kind of bet the farm again and went for it in 1965.
Right. And your sister is a former U.S. Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos.
That's right.
Now, this company grew quite a bit, and eventually your dad became a billionaire.
The machinery business struggled, but then in the early 70s, they patented the lighted sun visor, tipped the visor down, the mirror with lights.
Ah, okay.
And that was their patent. And then the digital compass and digital thermometer in your car, they licensed that from NASA.
Wow.
Installed that in cars. And so they kind of rode the wave of outsourcing of automotive stuff and supplied that to Ford, GM, Chrysler, the other big transplants. And that company grew quite large. Yeah, it was 5,000 employees, about $1 billion in sales. And my father died of a heart attack in 95.
Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah, he was a great man. He was truly a rising tide that lifted all boats.
Well, I guess at the time that he died, the CEO of the company said that it would still be a family-owned business, but then a year later, the company sold for $1.2 billion.
We certainly had the intent. My father had actually hired another CEO to kind of take the company onward. And then when my dad died, he didn't really want to take that job without my dad there to mentor and do that transition. And my dad had given 20% of the business to the employees.
Wow, okay.
And so it was one thing. The company had no debt, but it was at a pivot point because it was expected to be not just a domestic supplier, but to do the same thing all over the world, in Europe, in Brazil, in Asia. So putting a lot of debt and a lot of risk on the company was not something my mom really wanted to do. So sold it, and I think that was the right decision at that point.
Well, yeah, by 2016, Forbes said that you guys were the 88th richest family in America with an estimated net worth of $5.4 billion.
No.
That's not true?
That's categorically not true.
Okay. So is that lower than it should be,
if you're conflating that with the DeVos family, but that's not the Prince family.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so if you kind of mush them together, possibly.
My sister married the son of Richard DeVos.
Yeah.
That's not my family. I mean, DeVos's are great people, but that's
okay. Got
their
it.
family is not our family.
Understood.